Well, here's how quickly things change around here at the Whole World or Nothing. Last week, if you joined us, then you'll have seen that we were headed through Germany and Austria on our way to Croatia. This week, we are going in a completely different direction. We're on the border between France and Switzerland, and we've decided that that is the route that we're taking after all. And this is literally an hour and a half after the last bit was filmed. Now, as we said last week, one of the reasons why we were planning to avoid Switzerland was because it's supposed to be super expensive. So we are going to do a big shop before we get into Switzerland, and that's where we are now, at the supermarket, trying to stock up to avoid that expense. Well, that's the shopping done. Switzerland, here we come.
What are we doing now, today? We don't even know, do we?
Well, we're about 10 minutes away from the supermarket that we just stopped at, and we're probably not going to make it to Switzerland today, is the news, because it's already late afternoon.
Yeah.
So we're having another rethink, and we will probably find somewhere else to stay in France and then head over the border tomorrow morning.
Okay, so we decided that we really did want to get to Switzerland today, so we are doing a double drive day. A lot of driving, right? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine.
We've left it until later in the day and put AD her pyjamas on in case she fell to sleep, which she did within about 10 minutes. We knew that was going to happen. So yeah, we're just going to drive a little bit into Switzerland, and we've got a couple of park-ups earmarked that we think are going to be okay. Nothing special, nothing fancy, but yeah, they just look nice and quiet in the countryside. So yeah, hopefully we'll get in there. The only thing that we've got to figure out though on the border is how to buy a vignette, which is the like the permit that you need to have in your vehicle to drive on Switzerland motorways. You can buy it online or you can buy it at the border. We're not really sure which to do, but we're going to try and get it at the border first of all, and then if we can't get it there, we'll try and quickly buy it online. I don't know whether that's sensible to do or not, but anyway, that's the route we're going. Oh, and the route that we're taking, because we just put in the most direct route to take us to the park up that we're heading for, is actually taking us through Germany. So we're crossing another couple of borders that we weren't actually intending to really. It's just kind of nipping through like the bottom corner of Germany though, so we're only going to be there for about 20 minutes maybe. But yeah, another country.
Well, we got the vignette. That was really easy actually. I was a bit worried because going in everyone had documents and passports and stuff that and forms that they were filling out when I actually got into the room. But I asked the guy and basically said, all I need is 40 euros from you. No, sorry, 40 francs. Okay. Which, they don't even use euros here. I didn't know that either. Okay. So I asked him, why has everyone else got documents and stuff and passports? And he said, well, basically, if you make an import from Germany to here, then you need to declare it. So everyone here is basically importing something.
Oh, okay, all right.
So this is actually customs, I think.
Right, okay, all right. But you can just buy a vignette here as well.
Yeah.
So what we do is just stick that in the
windshield. He said stick it in the windshield and you're good to go. After spending a couple of nights in some pretty rural, secluded locations, we headed south to one of Switzerland's most famous lakes and found ourselves in a perfectly positioned car park by its biggest city.
We had a really peaceful night's sleep in that car park. We didn't film anything yesterday because Jay actually needed to work, so AD and I just went out and found some parks and did a little bit of exploring for the day. Today we are taking Jay and you with us, so we're going to revisit some of the places that AD and I found yesterday that are really cool that we want to show you, and explore some new places. Basically yesterday we just walked along the new promenade area. It's all very spacious and green and just loads of interesting and cool stuff along there to do. But today we're going to go a little bit further and go into the old town, which apparently although it's still really well maintained and really clean and beautiful looking, has a bit of a different feel to it. So that'll be interesting to see. The town that we are in is called Zug, and the canton of Zug, which is the district that we are in, is actually the wealthiest in Switzerland. And being that Switzerland is one of, if not the wealthiest country in the world, I think, that says something about this area. Basically, it was the first tax haven, so I think it was the Zug, Zurich and Liechtenstein tax haven triangle, something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to claim to be a tax expert by any means, but that was established in the 1920s. So since then, this place has attracted a lot of investment from international businesses that have basically put their headquarters here. Apparently, even though Switzerland as a whole has lower tax rates, this area is half of that again. So yeah, that's why it's so attractive to come and live here, I guess. But it is also really expensive to live here, so you've got to be able to afford it as well. One of the things that we have done today for exploring is we've actually prepared our lunch and dinner to take out with us so that we don't have to buy it anywhere. Don't want to have to break the bank by going in anywhere and having to buy any food. Although we have yet to go into a supermarket, we will do that, because we're just interested to, you know, see what price things are. Whether we buy anything is a different thing, but we don't want to have to be forced into buying anything because we're hungry. This metal thing behind me is one of the cool things that AD and I found yesterday. We actually thought it was a public toilet, but it's not.
It is in fact a public art installation that takes you down below the surface of the lake and allows you to see it from a unique perspective through this huge window. Overlooking the lake is the Old Town, with its perfectly preserved cobbled streets and elaborately embellished historic buildings. Wandering down its narrow alleys was like stepping back in time. A little bit further down the shoreline, we were really surprised to come across a designated bathing area with sun decks, a diving board and tons of people enjoying the autumn rays.
If we weren't so far away from the van, I would definitely be going back and getting my swimming stuff. It's not actually that cold. Like, you would definitely get used to it. And I think because it's like proper sunshine as well, like you'd warm up really, really quickly when you got out anyway. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame because I would have definitely been up for this.
Well, Sarah's absolutely right. The Old Town has got a completely different feel to it. And it's just gorgeous. I can't believe that I've never heard of this place before. The buildings are exquisite, it's really ornate, and just, yeah, absolutely beautiful. We've just spotted these incredible creatures on some flowers that we've just walked past. And at first I thought it was a really huge bee. And then I looked a bit closer and it looked like a hummingbird. I thought it was actually a bird. But then when I actually stopped and really looked at it, I think it is a beetle. If you know what this is, let us know in the comments.
We decided to take a walk up to a point where you can get a funicular that takes you up a mountain that has a really lovely view over the town. But it's one of those things where you're kind of regretting the decision after making it, because it is uphill to the point that we have to take the funicular, the cable car from, and this is hard work.
The views from up here are absolutely sensational, and there are quite a few walking trails as well that look pretty good to do. However, we've come up here a bit late in the day, so I think actually what we're going to do is just get the funicular back down and try and catch sunset. We've made it down just in time for sunset so we can enjoy our pre-prepared dinner and watch the sun setting over the lake. Something that is becoming pretty clear the longer that we spend in Switzerland is that it's really not set up for campervanning like some of its neighbours, in that there are pretty much no free services that we've come across, and campsites and stuff like that are really, really expensive, about 50 quid each, I think, per night. However, we have just found some free services really close to where we were staying yesterday, and I think that you can pretty much do everything here. So empty out the toilet, empty out grey waste, and fill up with water as well. This is unheard of in Switzerland, as far as I can tell. So we're really pleased to have found them, and we're going to make full use. I have to say, this place is super random because it is just on the middle of an industrial estate, but really pleased that we found it. Starts at 100.
What?
The withdrawals start at 100. You can't get anything lower than 100. I don't think we'll be seeing any Swiss francs today. Okay, cancel that. At a lot of cash points in England you can get a £5 out, and here in Switzerland the lowest that you can get out is 100. That is absolutely typical. Now, despite Switzerland having a reputation as being extremely expensive, one of the most expensive countries in the world, as we have already discussed, we've actually spent hardly anything since we've been here. It's been relatively cheap for us because we haven't bought anything. However, we do need a few bits and pieces now, so we're heading to the supermarket to see just how expensive it is.
How much do you love your daughter?
Yeah, exactly. £7.50 for a packet of blueberries. A tiny packet.
It's the one thing she wants though.
Well, we're going to have to do it. Here you go.
Yay! Okay, how much do you reckon this is going to come to?
I'm saying like 30 quid.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's fair.
And we basically got some bananas and a bit of cheese.
I think it was more like 40.
Well, I think I'm going to have a little bit of a lie down after that. Sarah was absolutely right. It was 39 something. So we got very little change out of 40 francs, which is basically 40 quid, is pretty much 1-to-1 with the pound. And that is incredible. I will actually show you exactly what we got for that amount of money. And I will also point out that it was a very kind of small supermarket in quite a small little town, or village even. So it's probably not that representative of the prices. It's probably slightly more expensive than they would be in a larger supermarket in a larger town, but still 40 quid for a single bag of shopping. After the shock of discovering the incredible price of groceries here in Switzerland, we decided to go out and enjoy something free, and found possibly the most beautifully located park that we have ever come across. As we've said already in this series, we're trying to spend as much time as possible near to parks, so Adi can get out and move and be free, and this park was literally 2 minutes away from where we were staying.
I was really disappointed that we didn't get to go swimming when we were in Zug the other day on the lake. So because we are near another lake here, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go in the cold water. I've been reading up on it a little bit, and apparently it's one of the best things that you can do for your mental health because it just gives you a massive dopamine kick that lasts for hours. So yeah, let's see whether I'm going to be a wild swimming cold water convert or not. Jay's saying that he is absolutely 100% not going to try it. This feels a bit weird. It's cold. Okay, here goes. Oh. Oh, it's not too bad.
It's really not that bad. I was expecting it to be a lot colder. Oh wow, I think I really quite like this.
One of our very best friends in the world is half Swiss, and whenever we go around to their house, they cook for us, and more often than not, they cook a dish called raclette. And since we are in Switzerland, we thought we may as well give it a go ourselves. We bought some raclette from the supermarket. That took up about a quarter of the budget that we spent this afternoon in the supermarket buying the raclette. And if you don't know, raclette is actually a type of cheese that's made here in Switzerland, and the traditional way to have it is on boiled potatoes and then grilled so that it is nice and brown and melted. And then it's served with pickles and quite often some dried or cured meats as well.
Well, I think that is us ready to hit the road again. Jay's just taken ages to the park while I did a bit of washing up and got the van sorted and packed away and all ready to move. Honestly, we could stay here much longer. Like, it's just so lovely. But we need to get moving. This place is called Engelberg, and oh my gosh, is it gorgeous. Just look at the scenery in the background. We've got loads of options here of what we can do, but basically there's two different things that we're trying to choose between at the minute while we're just preparing some lunch to take with us. The first one is to take a cable car kind of halfway up one of the mountains where there's a really lovely lake and a nice walk around it and like a bit of an adventure playground, and the scenery is just supposed to be absolutely amazing up there. Or alternatively, we can take a rotated cable car up to the very top of the mountain where it's just completely covered in snow, and up there is an ice cave and like a walkway that goes like between like two of the peaks. It looks absolutely insane. Like, I really want to do it. However, it's also really expensive. So to go right up to the top, it is about 200 Swiss francs, which is like, I don't know, like 180, 190 quid. So yeah, really expensive. And it's expensive enough to go in the cable car that goes halfway up. So that's going to be about 70 quid in total. So yeah, we're just trying to weigh up our options as to what we're going to do, because, you know, we do want to see some cool things, but we also don't want to spend all of our money just doing one activity.
Well, Sarah's put the decision on what to do to me, and obviously I've gone with the cheap option because I'm a skinflint. So we're going to go up to the first level and see what that's about.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. It would be really cool to go right up the top. Like, I think I would absolutely love it, but I think we would need to be here first thing on the morning as well to make the most of the day. Like, 200 quid is a lot of money.
Now, if you watch our channel regularly, then you'll know that I'm not a massive fan of heights. However, for some reason, when I'm in a cable car, they don't actually bother me whatsoever. So this is absolutely fine, even though we're already hundreds of meters up in about 10 seconds. This is fast.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Well, I've had picnics in worse locations than that. And
Wow, just absolutely stunning. Sorry.
it really is, isn't it? We've just realised that you can take boats out on this lake as well, so we're just waiting for one of those to come back in so that we can go out on it. And it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, while AD is playing on the playground, I'm going to go for a swim. Now, I've already put my hand in this water and it is ice cold. I mean, it's coming down from a glacier, so of course it's going to be freezing. So, yeah, we'll see if I still like cold water swimming after this.
I know sometimes life can be tough.
That water was properly cold and I loved it. It was so good. Guys, I think I might be a cold water swimmer.
When you're thinking everything is gone wrong, just remember that I'm here to cheer you on. Yeah, I wanna pick you up from the ground, let you know that I'm always around.
That was a really fun afternoon, and we definitely made the right choice in not going to the top, because we didn't actually manage to get everything done that we wanted to do in the afternoon because we had to come back down before 5:15. That was the last gondola to come down.
Didn't want to get stuck up there.
Exactly, yeah, and have to hike down, which might have taken us a little while with a certain person with us. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we're back in the front of the van now because we've actually got to drive on. We can't stay here overnight, so we've got to find somewhere else to stay. We've got another place earmarked, but it's actually an hour further north, and we're driving south. But because of the nature of the mountains and the roads around here and the lakes and stuff, sometimes you just have to do that in Switzerland.
When you feel like there's too much on your plate.
AD's sleeping, so it's always a risky business stopping because we don't want her to wake up partway through a drive and then her get bored and us not be able to get to where we're going to for the day. But we have just had to stop and have a closer look at this view on this road because it is just absolutely insane. Look at this. And what's more, I'm pretty sure that you can stay overnight in these parking areas as well that are on the hairpin bends. It'd be no good for AD, we'd have to keep her in the van because obviously it's far too dangerous just being in the middle of two really fast roads like this. But oh my gosh, if you don't have kids or dogs, this is a park up.
This barrier is, well, it's non-existent, it's just some poles stuck in the ground. This is pretty terrifying actually, because these roads are seriously high and that is a sheer drop off the other side. There's just nothing holding you on really. It takes so much concentration to drive on these roads. That drive was absolutely sensational. I don't really know how to put it into words. It was just unbelievable. It was one of the best drives easily that we've ever done in the van. It just kept getting better and better the further that we went. There were these towering mountains topped with glaciers. There were tons of switchbacks which made it really interesting to actually drive, and the surface of the road was absolutely beautiful as well, so there was no issues there. But it was just stunning scenery for the entire way, and we drove about 2 hours then. Incredible. And tonight we're going to be staying in luxury. No more car parks for us. We've actually come to a designated camping space, and it is one of the most picturesque that we have been to. It's the first one that we've been to in Switzerland, and let me just show you around because I don't think talking about it will do it justice. We ended up staying at that last campsite for 3 days in the end, and we didn't film much because there wasn't really a great deal to do, so we didn't do much. We just had a lot of downtime, spent time together as a family, caught up on a bit of work that we needed to do, and also caught up on some sleep that we've been severely lacking over the past couple of weeks because we've been travelling so quickly. But we do need to get out of Switzerland, so we got back on the road and we've headed south, and we've ended up in a place called Lugano. It's a lake and it is right in the south of the country, and it's probably going to be our final stop before we head into Italy. Let's go and explore. Lugano is, well, it's gorgeous. We grabbed an ice cream, wandered down the promenade, and there was this kind of military reenactment looking thing that we didn't have a clue what it was, but it was fun to watch, and Ailey loved it. However, we've got to be honest, it's just not the kind of place that we really fit in. The streets are lined with posh designer shops, and we also came across this £250,000 McLaren parked up in the centre of town, which we steered well clear of, not wanting to scratch it. But after exploring the town a bit, we went up to an incredible viewpoint overlooking the lake, which had a park, and in what felt like a fitting parting gift from Switzerland, we found something else completely free, a bumper haul of chestnuts.
So, verdict on Vanlife Switzerland. We have really enjoyed it and I think we would definitely come back. We spent maybe around 400 quid in the time that we've been here, so just over a week, but that did include fuel and that is obviously a big expense. It wasn't actually that much more expensive here than it is in the UK. It just always is a big part of our budget, and the other money that we spent was completely optional. So I think you could come here and just literally spend nothing. There are lots of free parking options around. They might not be the most picturesque, but they're there, and there are a few free service points dotted around. If you can plan your route around them, you wouldn't have to go to a campsite. And the activities that we did, obviously those are optional. So yeah, if you do a big shop before you come in a neighbouring country, I think you could probably make it as cheap or as expensive as you wanted it to be, really. Anyway, if you have enjoyed exploring Switzerland with us, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the little alarm bell thing so you get notified each time we post a new video. We shall see you next time in Italy.